Hi. You know what? I was gonna do something. I think. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. No, that's better. Um, so today we're gonna make my made-up version of beef curry. So all of the ingredients that I'm gonna give are relative to the amount of meat. So change it to that. So I'm using 3 pounds of meat. So it's all relative to that. So it's one large onion, 4 cloves of garlic, and I used roasted red pepper or roasted pepper. I used two. I used chili pasilla and jalapeno to make it hot. You could also use just a red pepper, which would be totally fine. I roasted them in the oven on the broiler for about 10 minutes or so. Check them every about 5 minutes, and till the skin comes off. Put them in a bag, roll them up, let them cool down. Actually, I have some right here I didn't use. See how they're all black and kind of crusty, and then this will peel right off because that you don't want that in your food. It's in here. So that's all I did with those. And remove all the seeds and the stems, because I don't want to make it too hot. You can always make it hotter later on when you're eating it. The curry I'm using is Josh Rogan. That's the UK way to say it. It's supposed to be red, so I put some enchote in here, which is a Mexican, South American food dye, basically. It adds a little bit of food. I have some somewhere, but I don't know where it's at. I put that in there because it's supposed to be red, and that makes it red. So I may put a little bit more in. I just saying that for my own memory. But it's really green now. Maybe it'll turn red. I don't know. It looks like a lot of onion, and it is, but that all cooks away, and gives this amazing flavor that I haven't really run across except in Indian cooking. I learned this base a few months ago when I was trying to cook chicken korma. So to cook the meat, I'm using. I buy whatever is the cheapest. So the easiest thing to use is stew meat. What are you laughing at? This is a beef shank, which is the calf part of the cow, and you see that like the marrow and all the meat, and it's really fatty and yummy, and it's really tough. It's really tough meat, so it's gonna have to cook for a long time, which is what we want. So any tough cut of meat, like a round steak, or I don't know. There's like 100 different things. So first we're gonna put this on the heat. I have it on about 5, and we're gonna brown it. And browning it is gonna make the flavors more complex, basically. And you're gonna brown it so it's brown. So it's actually got a little bit of a burnt, but not like a crust on it almost. And that's gonna make your meat so much more flavorful. And you can put a little oil. You should put a little oil in this, just a tad, because especially if you're using this, because there's a lot of fat in this stuff. See how it's already getting brown there, like that? Maybe a little bit. I should probably do it again, and I'll probably flip it again. Okay, so I got the meat browned. This is what's left. A bunch of black cruddy stuff on there, and some oil because of this. These are very fatty. So if there's any leftover oil or anything like that, or grease, just get rid of it. Make sure you don't lose too many of the chunky little black things. That's all good stuff in there. So we're gonna deglaze it. Now you can use a lot of different things. But this recipe, which is a key component, is Italian dressing, which is what I start braising the meat in. So the meat has to be braised, which means it's gonna be cooked for a long time in a little bit of liquid. So I pour about that much in. It's gonna smell very vinegary. This is the cheapest one in the store. So we'll probably put a cup of water in, or whatever, half a cup of water. in there too, because it's kind of thick. And then we just put our meat in. Juices from this. Okay, so let's just organize this a little bit here. So bring it to boil, and then just shove it all down in there. Bring it to boil, and then turn it down to like a medium low. And it's gonna sit there for, I'd check it every half hour. And once the meat's done, I'll show you what it looks like when it's done, when you know it's done. So for this, we're just going to pour this straight in here. Now this is the chilies, onion, garlic, and a little, some other stuff. The anchote to make it red eventually, hopefully. Which it's really green now, so I don't think it's going to work. And I don't want to put too much in. Let's see, how do I want to cut these? So the curry, I'm using Rogan Josh. It's one of my favorites. You can use any curry for this. Really, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. So I like to kind of keep adding it. Add it more in the beginning than the end, because you really need this curry to mix with the flavors, or it's just going to be separate from the rest of the flavors. It's not going to taste right. It's going to taste like there's something off. It takes a lot. It takes a lot more than you think too. So that's about a half a teaspoon right there. So we'll start with that. Oh, this is braising. So that's good. And I'll stir that up. I tend to maybe do this, stir it a little bit too much, but I usually like to come back here every 15 minutes and check how it's doing, especially if I'm doing it on the stove, because you can do this in a slow cooker too, and not worry about it. But I have my heat higher to cook it faster, because it's like 9 o'clock and I'm hungry and I want to eat. So it's pretty much almost done, but with using this shank, I need to kind of cut it up, get it off the shank, and get off some of this tendons and stuff like that I'm not particularly fond of eating. And then cut it into bite-sized pieces. But if you buy the stew meat, it'll already be like this. So the meat is almost done. So when it's almost done is when I put in the potatoes. So whenever the potatoes are done, that'll coincide with when the meat is just perfect. So I'm just going to put all these in there. That's, what did we say, 5 potatoes? Cooking a lot of it, so let me turn it this way actually. So that's the onion, pepper, garlic stuff. Just do the potatoes in there. Not cooked, so everything's gonna... But the onion stuff is cooked a little bit. So this is all gonna go together. So that's gonna stay on medium. Let's just put it on medium. So I'm gonna do some fresh corn on the cob in there too. But Sam missed me cutting it off, so all I have is this much left. Alright, corn's in there. We're gonna let that go for about 5 minutes, and we're gonna be done. So I added some more water. So see how it's kind of soupy? When I've made this before, I always regret that I didn't make enough sauce. So I made some more. So I added some more water. And see how thick it is? See how thick it is? I mean, it's thick.